Liverpool, deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, and I hope you're all well and safe and them things. Now, this morning has been terrible for me personally, people. I don't know about you lot, but certain people too nasty. I make sure my skin is clean, shower every day. The relevance of that, I woke up extremely late. The alarm snakes me, people. You know when you wake up and you're like, oh God, I'm late. Ran in the shower, things falling on the floor. It's been one of them mornings, but videos have to still get made. That's my point. Regardless, videos still have to get made. Now, the relevance of today's vid, or this morning's vid, because let's face it, there's a good chance there'll be multiple videos today and every other day. Don't want to say a lot of dreams, but I can't stay away from you guys. Yeah, man, let's crack on. Carlo Ancelotti, now he's officially left his Napoli job. He's ended his time in Naples. It is the beginning of the end because they've had a poor season. And I think because of how the club's been, and again, I'm not watching Napoli or Italian football religiously since it got taken off BT and whatnot. But well, how can I put it? It has become a circus. You've got chairmans trying to fine and ban players because they're not going to pre-season retreats. Players refusing to go to these training camps because of poor form. Obviously, the manager has to take blame for what's happening on the field. And yeah, Napoli just over recent years, it just looks far away from the Napoli side of Surrey. And you know, when you had Napoli, you thought, yeah, Juventus is probably going to win the league, but Napoli used to run the league close. They'd either come in second or third, or if they didn't end up in them final positions during the week in Serie A, you would see them things like of recent years. A couple of years ago, people were raving about Insigne. What's his face? Zinonski. I can't say his name. The Polish guy in midfield. Who else? Koulibaly, Mertens, if I haven't said it. The great attacking players they had. It seems like they've gone far away from Sarri ball. It seems like they need to change. Carlo Ancelotti tactically, it looked like he was trying to pigeonhole too many people in positions that or roles that weren't theirs at Napoli. He leaves them qualifying for the last 16 of the Champions League, I believe, but he's still been sacked. In the league, they finished 7th. They're 7th right now, they haven't finished, and I believe they're 6 points or 7 points off 6th. So it's been a woeful season from Napoli, and like I said, nobody's alone. Even the fans, you've heard fans abusing Alan, and Alan's wife has come out and said enough's enough. So it's a bit of a toxic circus. So it needed to end for Carlo. Apparently Gattuso is going to be their new manager, and Torreira to Napoli links are probably going to start up again. But Carlo Ancelotti's obviously become available. Arsenal have a head coach role available. Wenger's previously spoken about Carlo Ancelotti, how he wouldn't mind him taking the Arsenal role. Ancelotti himself, I swear he said one time ago that one day he wouldn't mind managing Arsenal and it's a good club and all these things. All of these point towards obviously becoming Arsenal manager. Now, we don't know, but I mean, he's technically got Premier League experience. Obviously he's experienced in himself. He's 60 years of age. It's Carlo Ancelotti. I don't need to spell out to you the competitions he's won, the clubs he's done it at, and what he's done in the game. He's a hallmark of the game. Real good manager. Like, it's Carlo Ancelotti. You hear that name, it's the same way as you hear Jose, Wenger, Pep, all of Alex Ferguson, if I haven't said it. For me, Jurgen Klopp is in there as well. When you hear certain names, well, Klopp is moving towards that if you don't want it because he ain't retired yet, but legacy managers. These are managers for me. Just from hearing their name, the hairs on your body, not the funny boy thing, stand up and you want to listen to what they say. So Carlo Ancelotti, from that, he would probably make fans and players sit up. When I look past that though, and I look at tactically how Napoli was doing, how he was actually, how they've been poor this season, and he has to take some fault as much as the players and the club. Is it really, beyond my admiration for Ancelotti and what he's done in the game, is it the right fit? Now, I don't want to judge him on two isolated incidences, but we've had question marks over UNAI Emery. Emery was able to outdo him over 2 legs. Take no disrespect to the players or both sets of players or anything. That is the truth. If we've had questions over Emery and Carlo's been beating over him over 10 legs, then that's a bit concerning. Now, if they played each other 10 times, Carlo might have a more positive thingy, but if Emery is able to do that on you and we have issues over Emery's tactics, is Carlo the man to take this forward? Obviously, I'm not being ageist and things like that, but he's 60 years of age. Is he necessarily going to you never stop reinventing yourself, and obviously he probably has in his last role compared to his second from last role, but has he got the energy to persist with the development of these young players in particular? Because he'll be 62 while Martinelli and that is 19, 20. And it will take a lot of energy in that regards. These players need to start afresh. They need to unlearn bad habits and things like that. Has he necessarily got the energy to do it with? One thing that is concerning is Carlo Ancelotti doesn't necessarily rule with an iron fist, but you do hear how he's got a laid-back approach, people. You see, for me, the impression I get from his time at Munich, who the players actually criticised his lack of tactical training and whatnot. Now, to be fair to Carlo, he's followed Pep. All the training sessions and whatnot are probably going to be boring after Pep. But the vibe you get from Carlo is that he lets men be men, he lets boys be boys, he lets professional footballers be professional footballers. And I think in the modern game, I don't think players can be left to their own devices. It's the same way at Arsenal. When you had Vieira and these things there, you had to give them pep. You didn't have to give them pep talks because they knew. The difference with football nowadays is I believe players need their hands held. Why do you think we gas Klopp, Conte or anybody on the football field who shows any sort of passion and whatnot and is constantly telling the team tactics? Because players don't have to remain concentrated anymore. Players don't remain concentrated anymore. Players are not promoted to solve things themselves typically anymore, people. I think players of today need their hands held generally. So when you hear Carlo, he's very laid back. He lets it's not anything different, but he lets other people take training. He's very laid back in his coaching approaches and whatnot. When you hear Bayern Munich and whatnot, that doesn't really fill you how the Bayern Munich players felt. Sorry, it doesn't really fill you with any joy or any confidence. Also, if anything, Arsenal need the most hands-on manager they can potentially get in terms of coaching and whatnot, because we've got several players with bad habits, because we've got young, really untested players that need to develop. We need a very hands-on manager, arguably. Carlo is obviously that to a degree, but based on what you hear, is he necessarily that, people? Even though it worked out for him at Chelsea on the day of a cup final against Chelsea, he's asking senior players for advice on tactics. You see, this is the laid-back approach where I think when it's the Roy Keanes, the Vieiras and these sort of people before them, it works. Today's day and age, that ain't going to work. So when I look beyond my love and admiration for Ancelotti and the fact that he's Ancelotti and he's a Champions League winner and he's managed Madrid and all of these things. Speaking of Madrid, didn't he say he sold Ozil because he hasn't got Real Madrid character? I mean, that would be interesting if he starts beef with Ozil again. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but yeah, we need a hands-on manager. And when I look beyond my love for Carlo Ancelotti, the fact that he's experienced, that which will probably tick the boxes of Arsenal boards, isn't necessarily the right appointment. I mean, he's experienced, he's available, he's probably not going to cost the world, he knows the league. He wasn't here for the longest periods, but he knows the league. Pretty sure his grasp on English is decent. I'm pretty sure I've seen a lot of interviews from him. So yeah, man, it's because I'm seeing Napoli abandon their principles, unstuck tactically. I wouldn't say negative football, but just stale as a team. And obviously the fact that he's quite hands-off by many people's admission. This, beyond my love for Carlo Ancelotti and what he's done in the game, is this necessarily the best fit for Arsenal? Potentially not, to be honest. The fact that he's available, the fact that he's experienced, and you hear allegedly the board have admiration for him, these sort of things can tick the boxes, people. So we'll have to actually see what happens. But apparently just about everybody is saying, for example, Mark Owen is saying Arsenal will talk with Carlo Ancelotti after Napoli boss was sacked on Tuesday night. However, Ornstein, apologies people, I've just lost my page. Apologies, people. Ornstein and Balaguer are claiming that Patrick Vieira or Arteta are most likely to be our new manager, people. This kind of correlates with what Sammy Mokbelis of the Daily Mail is saying. He says Kroenke see value in handing the job to someone who has played for the club, which would strengthen Mikel Arteta and Patrick Vieira's cases. Both Vieira and Arteta feature on what is an exhaustive list of names the club want to talk to. So you could probably imagine these two, as well as potentially Carlo and just anyone available, is who's going to be spoken to. Fabrizio Romano has said that, and this is to kind of back up the claims about Arsenal board being quite fond of Ancelotti. He said, a part of the Arsenal board have always appreciated him as a perfect manager for the future. No official contact between Ancelotti and Arsenal, but now he can be available on the list for the Gunner's job. Obviously, he's an Italian-based national, and when he tweets in English, Twitter kind of do him dirty. So yeah, apparently Everton also want Carlo Ancelotti. I mean, you're hearing Carlo Ancelotti, you're hearing UNAI Emery's warming up to go into Everton because, is it Victor Pereira, whatever his name is, he's pulled out of the race. They obviously want Arteta. They're linked with the same names we're linked with. I think they're even linked, well, we're not linked with David Moyes, but they're linked with him as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in relation to our management situation, people. This is a segment from Bayern Munich, courtesy of Renato. Go and check out him on Twitter. He found this and kind of backed up the claims I was looking at. He said, Bayern Munich players complained at how hands-off Ancelotti was with his coaching methods compared to Pep, and it led to him losing the dressing room and getting the sack. Napoli players clearly weren't playing for him and wanted him off, which is worrying if Arsenal are indeed keen. Now, that's his tweet, and I think it made a lot of sense. It is worrying if he's not really hands-on, because they're the same things we're talking about Emery. Emery, you can say he was hands-on, but don't understand the tactics, unable to get his tactics across, unable to really improve players. These are, for what I'm reading, concerns, to be fair. I don't know if Napoli players were playing for him or not playing for him, but you have to imagine certain players in that environment are going to down tools. Maybe not necessarily because of Carlo, maybe because of what they're going on with the president or the fans and whatnot. It's been a whole circus at Napoli, to describe it, if you've been watching them religiously or just sporadically. But I mean, like I said, people, I would take Carlo Ancelotti, but when I question my own logic, but look beyond my own admiration for Carlo Ancelotti, and I look at the facts and what I'm hearing, is he necessarily the best fit? Potentially not. But we'll see what happens. We can definitely do a lot worse than Carlo Ancelotti, in my opinion, but we'll have to see. Who knows what's going to happen, but I'm going to be here to offer my sound bites and my segments with you guys. On that note, though, all good things come to an end. You choosing N'Golo Kante's got to keep it moving. People, DG, God bless, I'm out. Check out all my other content, comment, subscribe, and do the rest.